Welcome back, my friends. The news today is that the U.S. shattered oil production records in 2023. U.S. record-breaking oil output is just one more blow to OPEC. The EIA reported last week that average daily production in September had remained unchanged from August when it hit the record-high rate of 1324 million barrels. One analyst has already suggested that the Saudis' only move in the current situation is to open the taps and try to kill U.S. shale all over again. OPEC will survive lower prices until the realization that there is less physical oil on global markets kicks in. But before we get into all of that, please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. And before we continue, a word from the sponsor of this video. Today's sponsor is ProWorldNet.com. ProWorldNet.com is a job website specifically dedicated to licensed professions. Doctors, including any type of specialty. Nurses, and that includes all grades of nurses. Lawyers, regardless of area of legal focus. Teachers and professors, from kindergarten through graduate school, as well as any kind of job that requires a government license or certification. And ProWorldNet.com also includes short-term gig-type jobs as well. So be sure to check out ProWorldNet.com if you are looking for a job or an employee. The U.S. set a new annual oil production record on December 15th, based on data from the Energy Information Administration. Although the official monthly numbers from the EIA won't be released for a couple of months, we can calculate that a new record has been set based on the following analysis. For reference, the previous record was set in 2019, the year before the COVID-19 pandemic impacted the oil industry. Total U.S. crude oil production in 2019 was 449 billion barrels, or 12.3 million barrels per day BPD. Then the pandemic hit, and oil production fell in 2020 and 2021 before rebounding in 2022. Record crude oil production in the United States is serving a fresh blow to oil bulls and OPEC, just as the cartel was trying to push benchmarks higher by adopting deeper production cuts. The EIA reported last week that average daily production in September had remained unchanged from August when it hit the record high rate of 1324 million barrels. This is happening despite cost inflation and lower international oil prices, and U.S. shale drillers have no plans to drill less. The situation is perhaps worryingly similar to 2014-2016 when oil prices took a dive, falling by 70% when the Saudi-led OPEC hit back at U.S. shale by boosting production to tank prices and sink as many U.S. producers as possible. At the same time, however, the situation is markedly different in several ways. U.S. producers have consolidated, and this has made many more resilient to price wars. At the same time, Saudi Arabia and its Gulf allies are probably more risk-averse than they were back in 2014. That oil price crisis prompted Gulf governments to adopt austerity measures for probably the first time in their history. They did not like it. The EIA reports oil production numbers in multiple places. The U.S. field production of crude oil shows monthly totals and averages, but they are always a couple of months behind. On December 14th, the most recent month posted is September, and U.S. oil production up until then stood at 350 billion total barrels. However, we can also find weekly production numbers in the EIA's Petroleum Status Report, published every Wednesday. We can see that average weekly production in October was 13.2 million BPD. Thus, during October, the U.S. produced another 409 million barrels, and the U.S. produced another 395 million barrels in November, to bring the year-to-date total to 430 billion barrels. The most recent weekly production number from the EIA, representing the first week of December, was 13.1 million BPD. At that rate, it would take 14.5 days of December production to break the record. If we make a more conservative assumption of 13.0 million BPD, then it only changes the timing to 14.6 days. So on December 15th, the U.S. set a new production record for oil. A new production record fulfills one of the 2023 energy predictions I made in January. The U.S. is also on pace to set a new natural gas production record this year. Through September, we are running a little over 4% above last year's record. However, the EIA does not report weekly natural gas production numbers. Therefore, this record can't be estimated as precisely as the record for oil. But what do you think? Please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.